Hello everyone, I'm so glad you're here. My name is Deneen and today we're going to be doing a place value activity. But before we do that, I would like to remind you of a really good warm-up that I've been doing with my students this week. I previously last year did a whole video on this, and I'll have wonderful Stanley link that video if you would like to see it in greater detail. But it's a mental math with tiles activity. It's from Marcy Cook. And I think the book is $15, but if you go on her website, you can get it digitally for, I believe, $10. And these are the materials you will need. You'll need tiles. And you can buy little quiet tiles from Marcy for $1 a strip. Or these are my tiles that I bought almost 30 years ago that I just got at a tile store and used a Sharpie marker on them. And you can also buy tiles on Amazon, a whole little tub of tiles, but you'll just need to, if you use those, you'll need to underline the 6s and the 9s so that they can tell them apart. But I have to show you what my friend and teaching partner, Mrs. Kendall, bought for her students. You have to see how tiles have advanced in the last 30 years. Look at these tiles, and I had to cut mine apart with an X-Acto knife all those years ago, but these are just, I don't know if you can see in the camera, but they're kind of marbled. They are beautiful. They are so satisfying to hold and touch. And they're peel and stick from Home Depot. And they are just lovely, these tiles. And we've been keeping our tiles this year. She had the idea to get the crayon boxes at Walmart. They're, I think, 88 cents. And so that's what, and then I converted to that holding of manipulatives as well. So those are some of the ways that you can get tiles, or you could make paper tiles. You could have the students go out and hunt for rocks and put the digits 0 through 9 on the tiles. Seashells, anything could be a tile. So to do the tile activity, I'm just going to quickly go over it. You have the students line up their tiles. Each student has one set of tiles. And this is a good time to teach them about digits. There are 10. Our number system is based on the 10 digits. And there's no digit of 10. 10 is made with the digits 0 and 1. So that's a rich lesson in itself right there. But once they have lined up their tiles, then you start giving commands. And what I love about Marcy in this book is that she has 3 different levels for every single lesson. And there are more lessons in this book than you can accomplish in a school year. I used to call them level A, B, C, but when I was describing it to my class this year, all of a sudden I just thought, no, I don't want them to associate a grade with the letter. So now I'm calling them level 1, 2, and 3. And you will see, if you get this book, how varied. This can go all the way from 3rd grade to high school. Because in level 3, you're towards after, I don't know, about a quarter of the way through level 3s, you're going into integers and fractions. And it's very challenging. So I'm going to do a level 1 for you right now. And you'll be giving the students commands, and they will just pull down the digit that matches. And you'll see they'll be doing so much math without a pencil or a paper. And I never repeat the commands. I tell them, if you get lost, just stay lost for this round. It's okay. No one's going to die today. Start with the number of months in a year. So I'm going to pull down so that I have 12. Plus 1, which will get me to 13. Minus 3, which gets me to 10. Subtract 4, which gets me to 6. Add the number of days in a week, which gets me to 13. Minus 2, which gets me to 11. And I teach them when they have a double digit like this, they just slide it back and forth. Take away 5, which gets me to 6, and you should be on the number of sides of a hexagon. So the first day that I did this week was Monday, and I was just going over the instructions, modeling how this would work, because we all know that time invested on the front end of the lesson reaps tremendous rewards. If we have anticipated all the problems, all the things that can go wrong, and address it with the students, then we are guaranteed, more likely guaranteed, greater success. So I'm going over this, and Cole just blurts out, we haven't even started. We're just learning how to do it. And he said, this is already fun. And it was just beautiful. It was a priceless moment, Cole, and I thank you for saying that. You know, his heart was so full of joy just at the thought of what this activity would entail. And, you know, many of my students did not come to 6. They didn't arrive at the same answer. And so we did it again. And I said, you know, when we're doing it the second time, many of you are going to find the place where you went wrong. And they did. You would hear them, oh, that's it. That's where I made a mistake. And you know, the most beautiful thing, I have a sign in my on my bulletin board that says, we learn from failures and successes. And I saw 2 students in the back, and one of them was whispering to the other student, it's okay. We learn from failures too. It's okay. I almost started to cry. I'm going to cry right now. It was just incredible. Level 2 gets a little more challenging, and honestly, my 4th graders, I did a couple level 2s last week, and I think it's a little soon for them, for some of them. But let me just give you some examples. So here in level 2, you start with the smallest 2-digit number that does not contain the digit 1. Challenging. Multiply by 3, plus 4, divide by 8, times 7, add 3. I'm going much faster, of course. And you end up with, you know, another number if you do it all right. And then in level 3, let me give you an example of that. Start with the sum of 8 and 5. Add a dozen, take the square root, plus 1, square that number. So you see the commands become much more complex until you get into integers and fractions. And so you see this can be used all the way through. I would use this with my beginning algebra students. Absolutely. Give them some fun. Give them some fun in math. And I teach them that, you know, it's okay if somebody looks at your tiles. You know, we all have been in a place where we needed to look at our neighbor to see if we're where we're supposed to be. And I teach them that's not cheating. Let's work together as a community. So that is called mental math with tiles, and that's what I did last week for my warm-up. And I'm going to do it again this new week, and they never grow tired of this activity. It's the very first Marcy Cook activity that I bought about 30 years ago with tiles, and it's still going strong. And I hope that you will give it a try. Your tiles will last your career, so you don't have to worry. And then I keep a little bin of extra tiles so that if you are missing one, you don't even have to bother me. Just go to the little bin and get an extra tile. And you know, sometimes they break, but they're cheap. They're not expensive at all. So that is mental math with tiles. Now, to place value. You are probably in your place value chapter in your books like I am, and I've been playing this game with my students this week, and I'm just so excited to share it with you. It's called Roll On Place Value. It does require some equipment, and it comes to us from the Boxcar and One-Eyed Jack people who have books and games enough to last 10 careers. But in this game, you'll need dice, and they recommend using their Strata dice. And these are available at their website. I don't have enough for my class. My neighbor, Mrs. Hageson, does not have enough for her class. She teaches 2nd grade. I teach 4th grade. So we combine our resources so that we can do these activities with our students. You'll only need, if you're doing it whole class, you'll only need one for every pair. And if you do it in small groups, you can get by with just having 5 of these Strata dice. She has an entire book full of Strata dice activities, but I'm going to teach you a game today that is for place value, and it is fantastic. So you'll need to get, and this is in her book, this is called Roll on Place Value, what do you call it? Game board. And it takes 2 players. One of us is going to be the light color, and one of us will be the dark color of of dice. And let me show you how you empty a strategized tray. It's rather empowering. So you take it like this, and then you flip it upside down, and then you lift it. So they never have to take out the dice and have them scattered hither, thither. And I do teach them dice etiquette, of course. And I also teach them that one dice is die, and that's new information for most of them. But then if you have these trays, you can just lay it right on top. Look at this. You can, oh, I knew that was going to happen to me. You just lay it right on top of your game board like that, and you just fill in the game board. But I'm not going to use it this way because I couldn't figure out how to make this work on YouTube, so on a camera. So I'm going to actually be putting my dice on the paper. So this is how we play. I'm going to go first, and I'm going to roll, and I rolled a 4. Now, my row is right here, and my opponent's row is right here. And the object of the game is to see who can get the largest number. And before you play this game, you're going to want to teach about place value, of course, and then you're going to want to practice saying large numbers. And remember that we don't put "and" in a large number unless it's a decimal. And Wonderful Stanley gave us all a little lesson on last week's video on place value, on why we don't put "and" anywhere here. And then we want to teach them that when we have the third digit over where the comma goes, that's where we say the word thousand. So practice saying numbers with them over and over. But back to my 4. So I'm going to place my 4, I'm going to put it on the hundreds because, 4 is a pretty good number. There we go. Now it's my opponent's turn, and my opponent rolled a 5. Now I'm going to want to place the 5, and then this is my opponent's row in either the 100,000s or the 10,000s. My turn again. Oh, I rolled a 1, so I already know I'm going to want to put that way down here where it will have very little value. My opponent's turn. My opponent rolled another 6. Wait, why did oh no, I'm the one who rolled the 5. It's hard to play games by yourself. I wish you were here to play with me. Here, my opponent is going to put the 6 right here. So look at this. Sadly, I have already lost the game, right? I mean, there's no coming back when I have a 6 in the 100,000 and a 5 in the 100,000. But isn't that an excellent strategy for them to realize that? So now it's my turn. I rolled a 5. I'm just going to put it here. It really doesn't matter where I go, but I'm still trying to get the biggest number that I can because I don't want to be a poor sport. My opponent rolled a 2. Oh, I might as well put this here. And you see how this goes? And you keep going until everything is filled up. And then that's not done because you play best 2 out of 3. So then we play another round here and then another round here, and whoever wins 2 out of 3 wins the game. And when that's finished, you play again. And do you see there's no pencil markings on these? So I don't even laminate this. We just reuse it. And if you invest in the strategized trays, you can have them actually playing just like this in the actual trays. You could hear the language, the rich language, the strategies that were taking place during this activity. And it was far richer than anything that I could have accomplished on a workbook page. So we're going to play this again this week, plus a few other games. And I just need you to know that there is also a strategized roll-on place values for decimals. And so check this out, the Boxcar and One-Eyed Jack. People, I need a little drink of water. Excuse me just a moment. This week, we just might get into our textbooks a little bit, our workbooks, our consumables. We have not touched them yet. We've been doing loads of math, but all hands-on. And I need to caution you that if you are doing hands-on math, you're going to need to teach your students that you're still doing math, because many of our students have the perception that math is something that happens in a book. So when they go home and their parents say, "What did you do in math today?" If you haven't trained them, they just may throw you under the bus and say, "We didn't do math today." You didn't do math today? So you have to teach them that we have been doing loads of math, but it's all hands-on math, and you have them practice, "What did we do in math today?" "Oh, we were studying place value. That's what we were doing." I know there is security in using ready-made curriculums. There's a perception that if I follow this textbook, I will automatically meet all of the standards that our students need. And there may be some truth to that. But more important, while standards are important, more important is having a joy in math. And I don't know how often true joy happens in a math workbook or textbook. So I encourage you to give these activities a try this week, and if you do give it a try, I surely would love to hear about it in the comment section below. Just let me know. Did it work? Do you have any questions? Because we can all learn from each other. Until we're together again next week, I just want to remind you of two things, and to thank you for spending this time with me today. But to remind you, and I want you to know and believe it in your soul so that you can help your students to believe it, that you are a math person and you are enough. Goodbye.